Hello and welcome to this episode of the Felicia Taylor Arts Legacy Series. I'm Michael Williams and I am joined today by Allison Stockel, Executive Director of the new Glazer Hall on Palm Beach. And what an architectural and artistic gem it is in its inaugural season. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to have you.
Excited to be here.
Good to have you. Glazer Hall, we'll talk about its wonderful co-founders, Avi and Jill Glazer, in just a moment. But first, raise the curtain for us a bit. It's at the gateway to Palm Beach, a wonderful new treasure for us, and it embodies the spirit of the old Royal Poinciana Playhouse. Sits on that site, and I love the history of that, and I love the dynamism you're bringing to us. Again, as I said, raise the curtain for us.
Yeah, so Glazer Hall it's different from some of the things that first of all, Palm Beach has an amazing array of arts and culture. Right. It's not like we're starving for more. We have wonderful things here. But there is something that Glazer Hall is able to do that some of the other art and culture venues and places, can't do. It's a very small, intimate, 400-seat theater that's getting amazing talent. Mm-hmm. And to be able to see some of this talent in such a small space is really a wonderful experience and very different. The great thing about Glazer Hall is that it has these amazing acoustics, and it's a space where the seats can go down and back, and all of a sudden there's a flat floor. So there are a lot of things you can do. You can have events there. You could have dinner theater. You can have galas and performances and all sorts of things. And then the next night or the next morning, you put the seats back and there'll be an arts and education show. Right. And then that night there'll be a speaker. And then we are doing some culture and food events.
And jazz and
cabaret
jazz. The whole arc of culture and entertainment. Right there.
And you can even split it. So, for example, for some of our theater shows, our cabaret theater shows, we actually have cabaret seating in the front where you can get dinner and drinks, and then you could also do the theater seating in the back. So it's a kind of a collaboration. There are all sorts of, your imagination
runs wild
with what you can do there. Yeah.
And then you walk outside and a stunning view, as I said, it sits at the gateway to Palm Beach, stunning water views,
right.
And, ability to sit outside, retail space. It's just an absolutely stunning facility.
Well, the plaza in and of itself is really an amazing place.
Yeah.
And, they did such an amazing job. Samantha Perry and her team did such a great job reimagining it and keeping the feel of it and bringing in high-end places, restaurants. There are so many great restaurants. You could literally spend the whole day there, come to a show that night, and go down the road to the Breakers for to stay. It's an amazing space. That whole area has become very much a destination area.
Glazer Hall is, quoting here from you all, a place where your children can see their first live performance by day and you can be entertained by night. And
right.
we're seeing that, what you've said, what you all want to be at this wonderful new nonprofit effort here. It really is, notwithstanding your modesty about we have plenty of culture and entertainment, this is really a wonderful new addition to our scene.
It's an amazing addition because it's, like I said, it's different. Everybody does something a little different that adds to what the town and the community can experience. And I think that is what makes a place a town. I come from a community where it was similar to that.
Where's that?
In Ridgefield.
Okay.
So we had so many different...
Ridgefield, Connecticut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we have so many different arts organizations. It was named the first cultural destination in the state of Connecticut. And it's a tiny town. But there is so much. There's, art and music and everything. And the Playhouse that I ran there was a wonderful addition and actually drew a lot of the different arts organizations together.
And you see that sensibility here.
Right. So similarly, for example, we're doing the show Ocean, a National Geographic film with David Attenborough, with the Palm Beach Symphony performing, the Palm Beach Opera singing live to the film. And we're doing it in conjunction with the Cox Science Center. And there are a lot of different people that are involved, whether it's wave makers or Four Ocean, but that's a perfect example of bringing the arts communities together so that we're all in this one space.
And your educational outreach, which is at the
Yeah.
core of so much of what you do. Talk
Yeah.
a bit more. You've touched on it eloquently, but touch on that even a bit more.
Yeah, our arts and education. So this is our first season,
Sure.
obviously. It's our inaugural season. So it's our first season that we're able to reach out to the schools. And we have some wonderful, very different offerings.
Right.
Everything from, Preservation Hall, doing their Kids in the Hall arts and education, which is history and talks about the history of jazz and the history of New Orleans and what it's like, what America was like when jazz was just coming to the forefront of the music scene in America. And so that's one thing. We have Ballet Palm Beach is doing their Ballet by the Book, where we take these books, which we're doing Peter and the Wolf, and you bring them to the schools. The kids read the books, then they see the ballet, and then you go back and you talk about it. And we have found that that is really a way to encourage literacy and children's love of reading. And so that's another thing that I used to do. And I'm so happy to be able to continue that here because I think it's a wonderful way to get kids, their imaginations go. And then when they read the book in their brain, they're seeing the visual of what they saw with the ballet, and it's a really magical thing.
I see you light up and smile as you tell that story. It's so beautiful. And speaking of lighting up, talking now a little bit about the co-founders, or a lot of it, Avi and Jill Glazer, longtime Palm Beach residents, philanthropist with a national and international footprint. Jill Glazer, director, Palm Beach Civic Association. She's just a dynamo in her own right. So is Avi. They wanted Glazer Hall to be, and again I'm quoting them, not only a stage for artistic excellence, but also a home where inspiration thrives, end quote. Tell our viewers more about this wonderful couple, Avi and Jill Glazer.
So obviously Jill has told this story many times, but Avi came home one day and he just said, we have to do something about this. This is a beautiful architectural gem and we're just looking at it sitting empty, and let's do something. And so, Jill is a doer. If you tell her to do something, it will get done. So that's exactly what happened. And it took more than 6 years, I think, from start to where we actually opened the doors in end of January. Throughout that whole time, she has been the constant, the two of them together, but Jill's there day in, day out, making sure that everything is impeccable, from the John Volk staircase, which was exactly the way it was when you first walked in.
John Volk, of course, who gave the Royal Poinciana Playhouse its form all those years ago. It opened in 58, closed, 2003. So history, the thread of history through here. A nod to the John Volks.
Right. And the box office is in exactly the same spot.
Wow.
But when you walk in now, you see straight through to the water. It is a breathtaking view if you haven't seen it. Everybody that walks in, their first reaction is, their breath is taken away, because that was never seen. That used to be actually the backstage, so only the actors would see the water. So stuff like that, she, in her mind, she thought, let's open it so that everybody can see it.
Visionaries.
Visionaries. Oh, they're both very, very much visionaries.
I often say, and I wonder, you wonder at their heart and soul, what drives that, as you've gotten to know them, at their essence, day in and day out, to build that vision, to bring it to life. It's a special gift for people who want to do something bigger than themselves.
Yeah.
And
we're
lucky to have that.
I agree. And they truly did do this for the town. I mean, they didn't do look, you think for a second that they need to be running a theater. They don't. But they really wanted this for the town. This is something that I have to say is, and people are like, well, their names are, but they didn't, that wasn't anything they asked for. That was something that everybody, felt was important because of the amount of time and energy and money and everything that they put into it. It was very much deserved. Every time you ask either one of them about it, it is for Palm Beach, for Palm Beach, for Palm Beach. They raise their kids here. They love this place. Yeah. I mean, it is truly an altruistic. They are so behind this because they know what it'll mean what it means to the town.
And they have that appreciation of history. I mean, you go back to the 19th century and Henry Flagler and the Royal Poinciana Hotel, and that would evolve into the Playhouse. And now this connectivity between what was and the dynamism of the rich history of this town. And really, this is the embodiment of that moving forward into the 21st century.
Yeah.
And I think that's awfully special. That takes a special vision and an appreciation and love for history in and of itself.
Yeah, they very much care about architecture. Their houses have won several awards because they have always stayed true to the architectural nature of the homes that they've built, and that is something special. A lot of people, you have to be a special person to get that and to appreciate that. And I do think that deep down they're both very artistic people. They love art, and you can tell, you can see it in everything they do.
And this is, of course, about a wonderful couple, Jill and Avi Glazer, and Glazer Hall, its inaugural year. But I want to brag on you a little bit, even if you wouldn't do it yourself, and I know you wouldn't, but executive director, what a wonderful role. You talked about your work, Ridgefield, Connecticut. You were a TV producer. You and I share something of a background. Yours was in the art side. Tell me about what brought you into this world. Take me back a little bit to your career in synopsis and what that arc was from your old TV days to where you are today.
Oh, the TV days were a very long time ago.
For us all.
I was actually 19 when I started working in television. It was way back when. I worked for CNN for a show called Showbiz Today. Now I don't even know if they still have it, but it was then changed to Showbiz Tonight. But I worked there for 5 years. I did all the music segments that
And
came
who
out
were
of the
some
New
of the
York
names you
Bureau.
brought in?
Oh God! I mean, you have to understand. I worked every day, and I did between 1 to 3 interviews daily. So. Everyone from Barbra Streisand, Pavarotti. I mean, one of our Future Files, we had this show called Future File. One of our Future Files was actually John Bon Jovi. So
wow.
That's how long it was that I've been doing this.
Suffice to say that arc would eventually take, you have had a lifelong love of the arts, and it would take you to Ridgefield, Connecticut, and a wonderful 21-year run
Yeah.
there. A lot of people would say, go sit on Palm Beach and put sand between your toes. What drew you to say, I want to take this on now, when you've had such an illustrious career? Clearly a couple that you were enthused to be with and work with.
Yeah, I was on the board for a bit, and I really, I fell in love with their passion and enthusiasm for it, and Jill took me on a tour walking through, and this is when it was really, this is...
Formative.
This was, I guess, a while ago, but... when I did the walkthrough, I could see it. I could literally picture everything that they were talking about, and I just felt this is a special place. So I did. I wanted to get involved and help with everything. Honestly, my goal was to just help them realize their vision. That's really why I wanted to do it. I just wanted to make sure that that this got fully through. Jill she's great at everything, and I was helping with the programming, and then together I think we just really sort of, pulled it together.
Well, the community...
but it couldn't be, I'm the executive director, but I feel like my role is to really just make sure that their vision is realized, because I feel like their heart and soul is behind this whole project.
Well, they are a wonderful couple, but... in addition to that, lucky to have you here. Not only your expertise, but the passion that all of our viewers can feel about what you're bringing to this effort at Glazer Hall. Final thought from you on Glazer Hall, its inaugural year.
Well, I just want people to walk in and feel like this is where they should be. We want people to feel comfortable. We want people to feel at home, and Jill says often this is a place for all, and we want everybody to feel that way. We really do. And I love when people come up to me and give me suggestions for shows, and can you bring this person? Can you bring that person? And I love it because I will be the first person to look into it and see if it's something we can do, whether it's a big name or an up and coming performer. Either way, we're happy to present both.
We really appreciate you taking time in your busy schedule and with all that you have on your joyful plate and bringing Glazer Hall alive. We thank you for being our guest, Allison Stockel, Executive Director. And as always, we ask you to share this episode, get the word out with your friends, your family, on social media. And remember, you can watch all of our episodes anytime on palmbeachcivic.org. Have a wonderful day.